Oh,
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Transcending La Familia. I'm your host, Sachi Ice Queen. I go by Sachi Ice Queen on a lot of social media. I'm going to switch it to Spanish just for a quick second. Um, Hoy vamos a estar hablando con una de las autoras, una de las autoras y poetas de el libro que publicamos hace poco. Se llama Explosion of Expression. Entonces vamos a hacer la entrevista en inglés porque no saben español, pero vamos a estar entrevistándolos en inglés. Entonces, si no nos han dado el like y subscribe, por favor, presionen ese botón y si quieren compartir, también comparten. Estamos bien emocionadas de tener a dos personas muy, muy especial. Basically, I just said we're going to have an interview and um, with two special people. That's basically what I just said. In how they say. So we have TikTokers, fellow TikTokers that are going to be joining us today. And um, definitely wanted to express my appreciation to all of our TikTokers, all of our TikTok family. And we are on Facebook. So, hello, Facebook world. Hello, TikTok world. If you're listening to the playback, we appreciate you. And I'm very excited for you guys to get to hear one of the authors of The Explosion of Expression book. It's a book that is full of emotions. It's a really special type of book because I love writing poetry. I consider myself a very artistic type of person, and so when I meet other people that are, also very artistic, it's definitely an enjoyable experience, and I always like to connect with them and grow friendships with them just because. I don't know. You meet like-minded individuals, and it's a very it's nice to get to see and hear what they're creating, how different everyone is, and how everyone express themselves, differently. So Mim, on Facebook, it's Mimi. Um she writes a lot of poetry and a lot of songs. And I'm very excited for you guys to get to hear her. She is someone that she doesn't live in the United States, and I'll let you guys definitely guess where she's currently living. So, Mim, welcome to the show. This is Transcending La Familia. It's not a feral activity podcast. But this one is, Transcending La Familia. I definitely wanted to have you on just because you're one of the authors, and definitely wanted to shout out Michelle. She wasn't able to make it, and so definitely always grateful to have backups where we can still do a podcast episode and, uh, you know, just to enjoy the podcasting world. So, Mim, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Um, and share with the class.
well, I mean, first I can say, G'day, how you doing? And if that doesn't give you a clue, I don't know what does. But hi, I'm Mim. I'm 54. I'm from Australia. I live in Australia. Um, love writing poetry. Love writing lyrics to songs. Um, now you put me on the spot. Um, now I've gone all quiet.
Oh
Uh,
no.
Hello.
Yeah,
I mean,
Messi's here with
the,
us too. And so we met Messi on TikTok as well. So shout out to the creators of TikTok. You've made my podcasting experience Way more enjoyable because I get to meet amazing people. I get to meet people that are very genuine, are very artistic and very, they show their appreciation for what you're doing. And that's why I always do the support Sunday on TikTok because I definitely I love being able to shout out the people who are liking and commenting and sharing and just being part of the TikTok journey because it's a journey, y'all. It's a journey.
Yep.
It's also an honor to call you my friend,
Hmm.
but also how encouraging you can be and how supportive you are. Like you've made it a real big thing to be supportive to me. And I really appreciate that. And Messi as well.
Hmm.
And Messi is a very, very good poetry writer and lyric writer for songs as well. You should check her out.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And Mim has had an opportunity to hear some of my actual writing as well.
Yes, I have.
Oh, I've heard your music too.
Yeah.
I think being an artistic individual, I think it's definitely sets you apart from everyone else. In the best way because you get to like, be creative. You get to be in your creative mode. You get to enjoy the little things in life, not just and it's like a different type of mentality because you're
Hmm.
always wanting to create something new. You're always wanting to, you know, just have that constant is what I like to say is you stop being a consumer and you start being a creator and it changes
Yeah.
your mindset. What inspired you, Messi, to want to do that?
Um, well, writing has always been something that I just I've always been a writer. I don't think I can ever think of time that I wasn't um somebody who liked to write. My mom, she's an author. She's a published author. So I guess I kind of got it from her. Growing up, poetry was like an expression for me. I never really understood how to write lyrics until later in life, but poetry was an expression, a way for me to express myself as well. And I did actually get some of my poetry published, but you know, that was like years ago. But it wasn't until I was on TikTok that I started learning about writing lyrics. And I have to say that I'd have to give credit back to somebody that I had been interested in romantically when I first came into TikTok, that introduced me to that world. And from there, it just like exploded. It was like my voice was opened up, and I was like, this is what I've been needing to be able to do because it's a way for me to express myself through writing lyrics, in a way that can get out there, in a way that people can resonate with it.
I think that's there's a lot of truth in that because a lot of the times, most women are very emotional, and so I think whenever you can write your feelings and write what you're feeling in
Hmm.
a way that doesn't hurt people, I think that is something that is very it's a good skill to have because I was raised with a bunch of girls and there's a lot of emotions.
Hmm.
Like, we had all kinds of different personalities and I'm one of four girls, and so I think that's definitely something that shaped me as a person.
Hmm.
Mim and me, we have that in common where we were, born around the same month, in the same month. And so I think we share that energy of of not being not always like having a composure about us. And it definitely stems from, when we were born. I feel like, having those characteristics has helped us be as quote unquote successful as we can be. I think whenever you can learn how to regulate your feelings and how to express them in a positive way, it's always a beneficial thing for
Yeah.
everyone around you. Um, Mim, what inspired you to want to be a published author and not just a published author, but a published poet?
I think for the job that I have to be very controlled, very business minded, boss minded as well. And it was a great outlet to, especially for the zodiac sign that I am, I'm considered quite cold and calculated. And I didn't really see that part of me because I'm very expressive, especially my face. My face gives me away all the time, but I wanted to harness that. And I did that through writing poetry and writing lyrics for songs. And it opened me up completely to where I was able to express myself in a way that allowed the emotion to flow through my fingers
Mm-hmm.
from my head. And the more that I wrote, the better I got at it. And I look back at my poetry from back in the day, like journals, and I look back at the journals and how much I grew up and became more expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It was. I look back at it now and just go, "Wow, you were quite a drama-filled teenager." I had a lot. I had a lot of feelings. I felt that I had the feelings that I had to feel to put into words on page.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us, I think because we're going through school, we're going through so many different, challenges when we're in school, when we're at home, how to balance it all out, how to, especially if you're not an only child, how to be different from your siblings or
Mm-hmm.
to be same, how to get that attention that your siblings are getting that you're not getting, or vice versa. I think it's definitely something that as kids you grow up wanting people to feel what you're feeling. And I think being able to do that through music and being able to do that through songwriting and poetry, I think it's something that I always think we're like the voices that were never heard, the voices that were never understood, or the voices that maybe had that little extra annoyingness about them or whatever. Like people, oh, you're just being annoying, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think nowadays, the most annoying people in your life are probably the most creative. And it's because like they just their brain is wired different. I think my son, I think about my son and how creative he is. Like he's not annoying at all just because he's so quiet, he's so selective with who gets to hear his voice.
Yeah.
Um, he's very selective, he doesn't share his voice to anybody. And so I think it's definitely something that is it can either discourage you or it can encourage you. And it's how they always say life is just life, and how you react to things is what sets you apart.
Mm-hmm.
Um in your opinion, Mim, in your line of work, I know your consequences are very, dire. In Australia. Oh, I gave it away, y'all. I gave it away. Uh,
Oh no! Now they
oh
know
Oh
where I'm
man.
from.
no.
If you didn't already know, you heard her voice. I mean, come on. It's kind of, you got to like you had to already know. And if you didn't, that's why I'm a teacher. I'm an actual teacher. I
Oh,
gave you the answer. Oh no. Uh,
and now
No.
now that video comes in handy. Of oh no.
Oh no.
That's right. Oh no. But oh yeah, I think it's definitely something like because you work in a prison over there and you're in charge of inmates and everything. How have you used your creativeness in your line of work over there?
Actually, from the artistic part, I started up a art class, an arts and crafts class for some of the inmates, and I then started up with getting them to write stuff down because they're very, very angry, upset men
Mm-hmm.
because it's maximum male security, and it's amazing what comes across my desk that I proofread it for them because there's a lot of expressive words that they use and stuff, and I'm like, well, you could get published, and it's kind of encouragement for them, and seeing how proud they are with their artwork, but also with writing as well, because well, they spend quite a bit of time in their cells,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've got a lot to write about. And instead of, I put it this way, of instead of thinking of how they can be naughty, naughty little boys, is expressing it through written word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I think it definitely, sets a different tone. I think I think when you can write something out, I think it's a form of healing, I think. And um that's just how that's been my experience ever since I started writing and started publishing books. Is it was my way of healing through something traumatic. It was my way of expressing myself in a way that didn't um, you know, quote unquote, that whole saying, woe is me, so like whenever I would write and stuff, it was my way of not necessarily bringing attention to the problem, but bringing attention to how I felt about the problem. And so
Right.
that's definitely something that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What about you, Messi?
Um, I'm sorry. Sorry, I just had my sister come out. I was a little distracted there for a second, but um,
Oh, by the way, y'all, we have a fellow Arkansian in the room, or on the air.
on the air.
Is yeah, Messi. She lives in Arkansas. It's definitely something that we share in common. We can share our pain of the humidity.
And this brutal heat and brutal sun.
Oh
And
yeah.
then did you just say you got totally fried when you were out at the car show recently?
Yeah, yeah. If you guys can see, if you're part of the cool club, you're watching on YouTube, or you're watching on Spotify, or you're watching on Facebook. You can see my face is it's a tad more red. And this is 2 days in, y'all, and I've been like putting lotion on my face. I've been doing the aloe vera. I've been
Uh,
taking hot showers. I've been doing all of the things to
all
get
of the things.
all of the things to get rid of this pain. So,
And the pain is real. I am so fried. I am so red everywhere because I was out in the sun yesterday with the kids for a few hours, and that's all it takes is a few hours
I know
when you're
it was
fried.
only like 2 hours for me, and I'm very light complected, and so
Mhm.
I really easily.
Yeah, I'm very light complected as well, and then it's just a few hours in the sun, and I am just a lobster.
Oh yeah. I mean, Mim is over there in Australia. It's winter over there. So
Yeah.
she got it. She got it easy over there.
Yeah.
It does it snow where
Mm.
you're at, Mim?
Uh, I'm in Melbourne. It doesn't snow in Melbourne. I think the last time it snowed was in the 1940s, 1950s, but about 5, 6 hours drive from my place, um, we've got the Snowy Mountains. We are really inventive with things that we call things as, oh, look, there's mountains, it's got snow on it. Let us call it Snowy Mountains.
Yep.
But the snowfields, Thredbo and Perisher, is where it snows, where all the Australians go if they can afford it, because it's very expensive to go skiing.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
So,
That's pretty
Right.
cool.
the,
Yeah.
My sister, she
and
lives in Colorado. She goes snowboarding. So
Mm.
okay,
she,
and
she
also, yeah, also Tasmania. Um, it snows there. That little island that isn't attached to Australia itself. I mean, it's part of Australia, but at Tasmania it snows.
New
Yeah.
Zealand. New Zealand, huh? Do they have a different accent over there
Oh,
in
New
definitely.
Zealanders, yeah. Well, see, you've got the country of Australia, and you'll see that like the big landmass, and then there's this tiny little island right at the bottom. But then the two islands of New Zealand are to the east coast, um, and over the Pacific Ocean quite a bit. But yeah, no, New Zealand accent. How would I'm trying to think. You know, they say New Zealand.
New
So
Zealand?
yeah,
That's
New
funny.
Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
So you guys are in for a special treat because not only has she lent her voice for Transcending La Familia today, but Mim has also been part of Feral Activity Podcast, y'all.
Mhm.
And if you're on TikTok, you know exactly what that means. For all the
oh,
Facebook
oh,
friends out there and the Facebook listeners, it's exclusively to TikTok, and we did that for a reason.
mhm. Well,
Uh,
I mean, all I can say for the feral activity is
that sums up the whole podcast right there.
Thumbs up.
If you don't know what that means, then definitely get on TikTok and go to Feral Activity Podcast. Give us a
just a bit
follow.
of just a little bit of spiciness.
Yeah. Everyone likes spiciness in their world,
Mhm.
why not? I think I'm a Latina, I can appreciate spice in food. And so,
I like to keep things spicy.
yeah, I keep things interesting, how they say. But it's definitely something that I've come to definitely enjoy. We haven't had an episode here recently, but we are gearing up to get one to start again. I think we've been focusing on the other two for right now. Um, but definitely wanted to give Lorinda a shout out because she's also part of the book, and she was also,
Lorinda.
yeah, Lorinda XO.
Lorinda XO.
She's the community director for Oklahoma, which is part of Learning Idiom. She got to be here for the ribbon cutting of when we joined the chamber here in Arkansas, and it's a real friend, y'all. When she drives, 5 to 6 hours to come be part of the ribbon cutting for your business, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is definitely something that I wanted to, tell her, shout her out because not everyone can do that, and not everyone will. She wasn't even here in Arkansas for a full 24 hours. So
Mhm.
that just tells you what her dedication and where her heart is and how, what amazing person she is. I'm Messy. I'm sure you've already met Lorinda, right?
I have met her in your lives, but yeah, I know
She,
we're just neighbors, Oklahoma
yeah.
to Arkansas, but I have not physically met her yet. No.
Yeah, me and my husband, we went to Oklahoma. We saw the leg lamp, the famous leg lamp.
Hmm.
And I think it's pretty cool. We got to take pictures, we got to be part of it, and I thought that was a cool experience. But I'm sure when Mim comes to the States, maybe we'll take a drive. Well,
We're definitely going out to Oklahoma. We got people to see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people to see, things to do.
Yes.
You know, it's definitely going to be a fun time whenever our fellow Australia or our favorite Australian comes. Uh oh, shout out to Jackie. She's our second favorite, but she's still a
Hmm.
favorite.
No, I think we're just favorite Aussies.
Aussies, yes.
Yeah.
And so what's one thing and I always ask all of my guests this, if life was a lesson, what would you say it's been teaching you using one word or phrase? So Mim, tell us what your phrase or word is that you feel like life has been teaching you.
Patience.
Mm,
Ooh.
amen. That literally was what I was thinking. Life is always teaching patience.
Yeah, I think you have to have patience in the life in this life. There's so many changes that happen. I myself, my husband will say I don't have a lot of patience. I think the biggest difference is I don't have a lot of patience for him.
Actually, no, I think you do have a lot of
Oh, you
patience with
do.
him.
You do.
Uh, he says that I don't, but I think, and this is what it comes down to. I have patience for him. Now, if I'm hangry or if you haven't fed me, I do not have patience. That's that's not something that
Oh,
I'm able to
I,
do.
I've heard you. I've heard you.
I'm
He's like,
like,
I can attest to this.
yeah, I need food like now because I think it's because I do intermittent fasting. And so when my fast is
Yep.
over, that's like 16 hours that I haven't ate in the
Yep.
whole day. And so
Yep.
like when it's time, it's time. And I
I,
I look back at all our fights and I'm like, you know what's so funny is that every single time it's always around the time that I haven't ate or I'm supposed to eat. And like it's always, revolves around food. And I'm like, I think there's something here. Like
yep.
and so definitely something that as long as he keeps me fed and I'm like, because he's very different from me where I like to plan things. He does not like to plan things. He's very spontaneous, which is very refreshing to me, but sometimes it's very frustrating because I'm like, I did all of this plans and then I did all of this planning for nothing because then he wants to do this. And so I'm like, oh, so I had to get used to that in the beginning of our relationship because being by yourself for 2 years, nobody's your boss. You're your own boss. Like I was a single mom. I was a business owner as well, and so I didn't really have to ask anybody for permission. I didn't have to ask anybody. I didn't have to fix my schedule for anybody else other than
I would
myself.
have I would have to say that life has taught me or is teaching me how to be resilient. Resilience,
Resilience.
yeah. Because
That's
That's a really good
am
word. Yeah.
I am
yeah.
a single mom myself and I have been through so many trials in my lifetime. And the one thing that has kept me sane through it all is like I grew up with this mantra basically that was instilled in me to always improvise, adapt, and overcome. And having that mindset has helped me to stay resilient. I've had to sometimes do some unconventional things, in order to keep on my feet, with my kid and keep my kid out from under, you know, off the streets and shit. I've had some really trying times, and I've always been able to manage to keep a roof over my kid's head and food in his stomach, and sometimes life doesn't make that easy for you to do, and being able to um, have the mindset that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, really helped me. And I had a counselor at my son's school who told me, one time I was there asking for help, and they're like, you have always managed to be so resilient. You always manage to find the resources you need. That was one thing that she was commending me for, because I never let anything keep us down. I never just gave into it. And you can't, as a mom, you cannot, you know no matter how much you want to just lay down and say, world, just run over me because you're already doing it, you just can't do that when you have a kid, you know?
Yeah, because you have someone relying on you. You have
Mm-hmm.
someone depending on your mental stability.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly.
I think it's definitely a different ball game whenever you are a mom. And so, for all the fathers out there, this
I say it to dads too, dads who are single dads, they've got it
single
too.
dads, yeah, single dads. I know some single dads, and they are like amazing fathers. And I think
Yeah.
they are the mother and the father for the
Mm-hmm.
kids. And I also
Mm-hmm.
want to shout out all of the widows that have lost their wife or their
Okay.
mom, because it was
Mm-hmm.
it's an unfortunate thing that happens. And so
Yeah.
definitely wanted to shout out all my cricket people because I see them on TikTok. Yeah, cricket for all of the world to know. Cricket Wireless is one of the reasons why we didn't move here to Little Rock for that reason, but my husband wanted to have a discount, on our all our electronics. And so I was like, well, that's an easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very, very fortunate that they let me do part-time, and they let me go on these next month we're going to Florida to do weddings in
Mm-hmm.
Florida. And so definitely wanted to shout out Cricket Wireless. Even though right now it's a fun time, we get to have really cool experiences with my coworkers and stuff. It's definitely not for the meek, and it's definitely not for the weak-minded, because people be upset about, you know, to like $20. Okay. Which, I mean, in context, we live in a different type of a world right now where money isn't always as around if you're not out there like getting it. And so, Mim, tell us a little bit about your experience with money and how money management is so important for, you've been a single mom, you've been married, tell us a little bit about how your relationship with money has helped you be as comfortable as you are, because I never hear you and I think it's something, it's a quality that I also share, that we don't really complain about that. And so tell me a little bit about your relationship with money and how it's helped you as you've been in Australia, which they have, Australian dollars too. So tell us a little bit about how money affects your world over there.
I was brought up with a single mum after my father passed away. So we were always scrimping and saving. And I always promised myself that I would never worry about money again. So put myself through school and college. I think they call it college over there, don't they?
Yeah.
University. Um, and I live comfortably. Um, but I'm also very frugal. I don't like going out and buying new furniture. If I can get it from op shops,
Mm-hmm.
and if I see something, and just like with writing, and writing lyrics as well, and poetry, I see something and the creativity comes
Mm-hmm.
through me, and I can envision what I want it to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And as I think I've told both of you, the big 8-seater table for dining tables. I
Mm-hmm.
found one for $30. It was disgustingly dirty. It had big, deep scratches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I fixed that up, and it looks better than store bought.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always made sure that I think the discipline of my job and how I live my life. I always make sure that I put money aside, and I, make sure that all my bills are paid. Financing me to come to America to see you two beautiful ladies. Um, have made really good friendships with.
Mhm.
Um, to put that aside, because a lot of people go, I can't afford a holiday. But, even just putting $5 away each week, it accumulates very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, I think because of my job as well and my personality, I'm very controlled in that sense where I set myself a goal and I make it happen. I manifest it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I have a pretty good relationship with money where sometimes if someone needs help, um, I will put money in their PayPal account and I don't expect them to pay me back. It's my gift to them to help them out. And even
Hmm.
if it's just a small amount, I'll be like, hey, I can put some money in your PayPal account. I don't expect anyone to do that for me because I'm okay. And I've always had to be that way. And I think I'm very blessed in that situation, is
Yeah.
that I can help.
It's an amazing thing to be such a giver too. It's good for your own soul. Just you feel good when you can give.
Yeah.
It is. I think it definitely does, change your mindset on a lot of things because when you're able to give, it definitely makes you feel empowered to want to help. And a lot of people, when it comes to money management and finances, they struggle a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to give Vinny a shout out because this Thursday, we're going to have a financial literacy class. It's going to be
Oh
virtual.
wow.
And so he works with insurance companies and he also does life insurance as well. But even though he does live in Canada, the company that he works with, they also can help Americans. And so definitely wanted to, shout him out. And then also Tiburon, he lives in Mexico, but he's from Chile. And so he does it in the way of real estate. So like I was in real estate for about 3 years. So there's different ways that you can set yourself up for success. There's different ways for you to invest, like she was saying, savings, um, even if it's $5 a week, those $5 a week can turn into something, Cameron is another one I wanted to shout out because he's the treasurer for the nonprofit. He's an accountant, and so I think it's definitely something that you need to keep in mind, especially if you're young, if you're just out of high school, if you're in high school, or even if you're in college and it's like your first or second year. These are things that you're gonna have to learn for the rest of your life. Like
There's
you're
always there's always ways to that we can, really sit down and evaluate how we spend our money and discover that there's lots of ways that we can cut back our spending so we can start saving. I mean, even if you're a okay, don't everybody come after me, but if you're a Starbucks person or you have to have your morning coffee kind of person, that $2-3 a day that you spend on your morning coffee, you can just make some coffee at home, take it with you, and put that put that same amount of money into savings, and right there, over a period of time, that has created a nest egg for you to use on something that you really needed or wanted, like a vacation or something, that you wanted to do that you never would have been able to figure out a way to save up enough to go do, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of people they say that if you go out to eat every day during the week, it's 5 days a week. If you go out to eat every day for those 5 days, if
Mhm.
you don't do that and you meal prep in
Mhm.
1 month, you can buy plane ticket to anywhere in the world.
Mhm.
To
Think about
Australia.
yeah. to Australia.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like that's like $300, $300 to $400 that you're spending on a restaurant, you're spending on something that you can do at home. And if you
Hmm.
don't know how to cook, I can teach you.
Hmm.
Um, and so
Hey, they could be another
I
podcast.
was gonna say we
oh,
have a
yeah.
podcast for that.
So we partner with a lot of people that do that as well. My husband loves cooking because he's a boy and he loves eating. And so most men and boys, they just love eating. They usually typically eat more than girls and women. And so I think his love of food is something that we share as well because I love his tortellinis. I like it when he does those barbecue ribs, all of that. It's definitely something that I've learned from him, and then I've also I definitely admire about him is that he's very, very like concentrated on the food, like doing the food the right way. And I was like, I'm a little bit more laid back about it. My mom, she's an amazing cook, and so I think it's definitely something that I saw her do all the time. And
Mhm.
she still does it. She still loves to cook for the family. She still loves to, feed the family. I get in trouble if he loses weight. For anybody that doesn't know how a Latino family works,
Yep.
if
Yep.
if the man is the same weight and doesn't gain weight, they're like, you're not
Job.
doing your job. And so so but I think it's definitely easier to do once you've had that preparation. And my husband's stepdad, he's from Chicago and he's Italian. So he knows how to do all the pastas, the, pizza from scratch and all of that. And so I think it's definitely something that he learned. I still remember my husband and his dad cooking if you're in Louisiana,
Hmm.
gumbo,
Gumbo. Oh, I love gumbo.
they also what's the other word that they call it? It's gumbo, and then they also call it uh, there's another word for it. But they cook, crawfish, and they put it in a bowl with other stuff.
Oh, are you talking about like a crawfish boil?
Yeah, so like they also do that, and then the gumbo, there's I forget what it's called, but yeah, Araceli on
Mhm.
TikTok, she
And
jambalaya, that's what it's called.
yeah, I was
Jambalaya.
about to say
Oh God,
jambalaya.
jambalaya is
Yeah, and
so
so
freaking good.
my father-in-law, I remember he came to our house one day and he made it with I was recording them because I did not know how to do that. So I'm like, that is I am not from Louisiana. My family's not from Louisiana. So it was something
Oh,
I'd never seen how to do. I made the rice and they did
when
that.
when
Hmm.
I come over, I'll have to show you how I make a Aussie pavlova.
Oh,
I love
that
pavlova.
sounds really good. What does it
It
have
is really, it's a meringue. It's like a meringue cake,
in
but
it?
Hmm.
it's got like fresh whipped cream, fruit, and
Hmm.
it's just it's
It's light and
it,
fresh and oh, so good.
yeah, it really is. It's a big staple Christmas day here in Australia because our Christmas is in summertime.
Yep.
So
It's funny that you
but-
mentioned that, Christmas in the summertime. Shout out to Elena. She does Christmas in July. Uh,
Hmm.
yep.
and so I that made me think of her because, I think Christmas I don't know how Christmas is around the world, but here in the United States it's a big deal.
Hmm.
Um, I don't is it
Well,
do you
for
guys have the
Christmas,
Christmas tree or what's different over there? Do you know
well,
what's
I mean, Christmas in Australia, it's summertime, but
Santa
we do the
Claus.
Christmas trees and Christmas decorations and stuff, and throw a shrimp on the barbie, but we don't call it shrimp; we call it prawns.
Hmm.
But also we do Christmas in July. A lot of people over here do Christmas in July because July is our winter.
Yeah.
So, it's cold where we, get to have the fireplace going and just do a kind of makes us kind of feel like we're having Christmas in wintertime.
Hmm.
Do you guys have Saint Nicholas or do you guys have Santa?
Santa.
Hmm.
Santa. Okay, cool.
Mm. Well, I mean, some people probably say Saint Nick. Um, I say Jolly Fat Man.
Some people say Krampus or in Germany.
Yep.
Krampus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And there's
My
a
husband's
lot of
German,
a lot
so
of
my husband's German,
yeah.
so that's why he's a little sour sometimes.
Ah, that explains a lot.
Oh yeah, he's German. He has a lot of blood. He ironically he has a lot of German blood, and then his mom's side he has a lot of Native American. So
Mhm.
I don't have either of those. I'm
I
like a
have a lot of Native American. I have a little bit of German. I'm just a regular Heinz 57, honestly. I've got so much stuff, but I got um, Viking blood in me and quite a bit of European. I have French, a little bit of French, Welsh, um, but a lot of Native American. A lot of Native American.
I
oh
see. Over here in Australia, we call that a bitzer, a bit of this and a bit of that.
A bit of that. Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah,
I was just
I'm basically a European Jew because I have a lot of French on my mom's side. On my dad's side, it's more Spanish, like
Mhm.
Spanish. So
Mhm.
it's
Spanish,
Spanish because it's
Spanish.
it's we're so the Zeladons come from the Pyrenees, it's in the middle. It borders France and Spain. And so
Right.
if I get all my artistic abilities, it's from my mom's side, not my dad's side. But if I'm very like business oriented or, I get that from my dad's side because there's a lot of doctors that are Zeladons. There's a lot of government officials, a lot of military people on my dad's side. And so all of the structure side of me, I get it from my dad, but all like the artsy and, you know, all of that I get it from my mom's side because my mom also she also writes some songs which I always thought was cool, and I have one of her writing, like she wrote it, and I whenever my dad came to visit, he saw it on my table and he's like, "Oh, I recognize that handwriting." And I'm like, "I'm sure you do. You were married to her for 23 years. I'm sure you you do." And so it was it was a song that she did because she was a minister for so long. She wrote a song about Thanksgiving. It was around Thanksgiving. And so she's very faith oriented. And so if I get that side of it, I have that from both sides though. But my dad is more of a messianic Jew.
I
Uh
am. I am too.
so yeah, my dad he what he believes is a little different than what my mom believes, but as long as you believe in something and if what you're believing causes you to hate people, you're believing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Uh, and
I'm a, I have a lot of Jewish, but we didn't know for a long time until we did some uh, ancestry work that we actually have a lot of Jewish blood in us as well on both my mom and my dad's side. We didn't know that. And we're messianic as well. Which
oh,
is funny because we became messianic. I grew up Pentecostal, but like in my early 20s, we kind of left all of that and discovered Messianic Judaism long before we even knew that we had any Jewish blood in us.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting that it's my dad, the way that he describes it is like he's always like I Jesus is, some people consider Jesus the savior and some people don't. And so when you're Messianic Jew, that's where that's where that comes from.
Hmm.
I always like how on TikTok it always says the AI description. So right now it says discussion on family heritage and food from Australia. Uh, but yeah, definitely wanted to, have you guys on. I know that I love meeting people on TikTok and seeing, how different life is to them. And um I know and especially people that are outside of the United States because I love
Yeah.
traveling. And so it's really cool to it puts things in perspective when it's like an outsider um sharing the same qualities that you have, sharing what you like to do. So I think it's really cool to see the differences in the culture over there and the culture over here.
And I
Mimi,
think
mm,
good. I think it's good to get different perspectives too. And I think having that variety allows us to see different perspectives. And that just enriches your own life, because you can take those experiences and apply them as well and see if you have a different outcome than sometimes you try and try and try and something doesn't go right. But if you use a different perspective from somebody else's experience and then, oh, look, it works. I think it's good just to have variety.
oh yeah. Mim, if there was one thing that you could like sum up how Australians are, what would you say that most Australians like how they're how would you describe a typical Australian for someone that's never been to Australia?
um, we're no, excuse me, we're cheeky larrikins, or in my case, I call them cheeky bastards. Um, we have quite wicked sense of humor. We don't take everything too seriously.
Mhm,
Um, we love to have a laugh.
mhm.
Messi and I mean, and you too, sweetheart. We're forever laughing
Oh yeah.
when we're on the phone, like, and even like on TikTok when we go into lives, how many times we've actually lost it, like
Oh,
cracking up laughing.
so many times. Sometimes it's just the two of us are laughing about something and it gets the rest of the room laughing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
laughter is really contagious. I think it brings me to I did one time when Clubhouse was a thing, which for anybody that doesn't know what Clubhouse is, it's like a audio only app.
Mhm,
And it I got to experience what's called laughter therapy.
mhm,
Yep. I've
It
done
was
that. Yep.
it was very odd.
mhm.
But it was pretty cool, like to see, just how contagious laughter can be and how it can put you in a different mood. It can, your brain doesn't register if you're faking a laugh or if it's a real laugh. Your brain doesn't know the difference. I mean, you know the difference, but your brain receives it the same way. And
Right.
so that's why they say that laughter therapy, you know how they say laughter is the best medicine. I think that's probably why we get along so much is because we can just laugh about a lot of things and but we can have those like serious moments too. And so I think having that balance is something that is really, really important in today's world. But any last words, ladies, that you guys want to, say or shout out to anybody?
I just want to thank you for bringing me on to your podcast. This is the first one I've got to experience.
Ooh,
It's
Oh,
fun.
I
Very,
oh,
popped her. I
we,
popped her
you popped
cherry.
my podcast
you,
cherry.
you, I
Podcast
know. I was just
cherry.
about now it's feral activity. Yeah,
Now we're gonna
that can be taken in so many ways. But anyone listening, hey, like write in, because there's so many topics that we can
Discuss.
cover,
Yeah. Oh,
and
definitely.
and like with the explosions of expression, food for thought, food for thought. Always, it's always good to learn different things and talk about different things and see what other people's opinions and take on things as well.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, for sure. If you want to comment, if you want to, Mim has a psychology degree for a reason, because she can definitely just sit and talk on a lot of different topics. And so I
Mhm.
think that's definitely something that I appreciate because you can't really talk to one person about a lot of different topics. And that's something that I've thrown a lot of topics at her, and she's always has something valuable to say about each topic. And I think it does boil down to her education and to her,
Mhm.
psychology degree, because sociology and psychology, like that's a lot, like the study of one mind and the study of a lot of minds. I think you just the experience, and then addition to all of the experience that you've had, I think it's definitely something that's um very it's very my husband's always like he's always like, you're always on the phone with her or in the same TikTok live, and I'm like, it's just because we get each other.
Yeah.
On the same wavelength. We're like, oh, okay, she can understand me.
It's rare when you find
Yeah.
your people, in today's world. There's a lot of different type of personalities, but when you find the ones that work with you and you work well with them, you hang on to that.
Yeah. You click.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that, here's a good example of Australian humor plus my psychology degree.
Hmm.
I will be like, I feel that you feel that I feel that you've got feelings.
That's Yeah, so the main feeling right now is for you to go buy this Explosion of Expression on
Yes.
Amazon. Go buy the ebook. Go check her out. Also go, to TikTok and check out her TikToks because she also has her music on there as well. Messi
Nice.
also has music that she's made as well. And so I'm glad that I had both of you guys on here, and I'm very excited for future conversations, just because it's really hard to come by people that you can just like flow with very easily in the conversation type of world. And so definitely wanted to appreciate you guys. And if you're just chiming in, rewind it, or I'll take you back to Blockbuster days and make sure
Mhm.
you be kind and rewind. But
Well,
and and also I'm grateful that you have this and we have the opportunity to talk.
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and share wisdom to people that need it. I think these types of conversations are really needed. I think and that's the reason why I keep doing it, is that I feel the need to continue these conversations that are so important for any kind of person. So thank you so much, and take care, everyone. God bless and peace be with you.
You too.
Thanks. See you later.
See you guys later.